The SE-5000 is the first Spider Farmer bar-style grow light that we have looked at, and it is quite a departure from their SF series panel lights. The question though, is it any good? Thank you to Spider Farmer for sending this light for us to take a look at. Now let's get this thing unboxed, assembled, and measure its light levels. The box for this light is smaller than you might expect it to be, and the reason for that is you will actually need to do a bit of assembly before you can use it. Inside the box, you have the power cord, a bag with the hanging hardware, and a parts bag that contains the assembly screws, some end caps, and the communication cable for chaining multiples of the lights together. Next up is the MOSO driver, which has the typical Spider Farmer dimmer and communications control center on the end. You can see the 4-pin plug that will connect the driver to the lights on one end, and on the other side you have the power connector plug that will go to the wall with the included power cord. Underneath that, you have one of the sidebars. This one is the side that carries the power to all the light bars and has the 4-pin connector that will plug into the driver. After that, there are 3 of the 6 light bars that come with this light. One end has the electrical plugs that will attach to the power bar, while the other end just has a socket with no electrical connection that will hold it in place on the other sidebar. Once you have all 3 of those out, you get down to the last level, which has the other sidebar and the remaining 3 light bars. Let's get the shipping box out of the way and get this thing put together. I started out by setting the non-powered sidebar on the table and pulled its top half up and out of the way. After that, I did the same with the powered sidebar. The tops are not interchangeable between the two, as the powered side has an additional notch to accommodate the power cord, so make note of which goes to each one. After that, grab your first light bar and make sure that the end with the electrical plugs is on the powered side, and then slide it into place on each bar. There is only one way that they can go, so just carefully line them up and slide them into place. Once you have all 6 of the light bars attached, go ahead and plug the cables into the driver and turn the light on. You want to make sure that you have all 6 of the bars plugged in and functioning before you go any further with the assembly. Once you are sure it is working, grab the tops of the sidebars and slide them back into place over the top of the light bars. Once they are in place, grab the orange screws from their bag, as you will need them for the next step. In each of the 4 corners, secure the top and bottom of the sidebars with one of the orange thumb screws. Once it is tightened up, place one of the white caps over it and then do the same thing for the other 3 corners. Once all 4 corners are secured, the light is ready to go. The driver for the light can be mounted to the top of the middle 2 bars by using the included black thumb screws on all 4 corners. However, the driver can also be mounted remotely outside of the tent, as the cord connecting the light to the driver is 9 feet 6 inches long. This is something I will be looking at doing with our next indoor grow, as I really want to keep as much heat as possible out of the tent. Now that we have it assembled, let's take a look at the dimmer function. The light is quite bright at full power, where it draws 480 watts from the wall. It can be dimmed down to the point where it is only drawing 72 watts from the wall, which is a pretty incredible range. Its outside dimensions are 34 inches by 35 inches, so you could fit it inside of a 3 foot by 3 foot grow tent, though Spider Farmer lists it as covering a 4 foot by 4 foot grow space for home growers. For the light level tests, we are taking par readings in a 5 foot by 5 foot square with measurements taken every 6 inches. These measurements are not taken inside a tent, as we want to be able to compare multiple different lights against each other in upcoming videos, and do not want to have to worry about tent sizing for all of the measurements. Remember that a properly sized grow tent can increase your light levels by 10 to 30%, especially around the edges of the space. With that said, we will be doing additional testing in the future with each of these lights in the various size tents that they will fit in, so keep an eye out for that if it is something you are interested in. At a 12-inch height, the par reading in the center is 955, though there are no lights directly over the center, so the light levels are higher outside the center under the light bars at 1080 par. This light will pull 485 watts from the wall at full power, and it goes down from there as you dim the dial. At 80, it pulled 383 watts from the wall. At 60, it was pulling 254 watts. At 40, it went down to 165 watts. At 20, it was pulling 100 watts, and finally, at minimum, it pulled 72 watts from the wall. Moving up to an 18-inch height, and the center reading is now at 837 par, and the incredible thing to look at with this light is how even the light levels are in the center and how much more spread out the light is over the space. We also took par readings with the light dimmed and averaged what the results were, which gives you the par X readings on the left. All of the readings shown on the screen are at full power, and to get the light levels at different dim settings, just multiply the shown par value by that number. For an example, the center reading at 18 inches is 837, but if we have the light set to 60, we would multiply it by 0.51 and get a result of 426, which will get you pretty close with all of the values shown. At a 24-inch height, the center level is down to 652, again with an amazing spread from there out. In a tent, this is about where I would have this light set at full power for flowering, as those are some pretty great numbers while being far enough away that you won't bake your plants with the heat coming off the lights. We are still using the Apogee SQ420 Smart Quantum Sensor to take all of these measurements, and it is working out really well. It is just the sensor itself and plugs into a PC to get these readings, so it is a bit more affordable than their standalone units. We will leave an Amazon affiliates link to it down below if that is something you are interested in checking out. Moving up to 30 inches, and the center reading is at 505, which would be a great place to have it for the veg phase in a tent, especially with how the reflective walls would bring up the edge numbers. The ability to place the driver outside of the tent is going to be amazing with this light for keeping temps inside of the tent down to a manageable level. It is also nice to have the choice to mount it inside of the tent if you grow in your garage in the winter like we do, and it will help keep the plants nice and warm even in the middle of winter. Getting up to 36 inches, and the center light level is at 385 par with a gradual drop off out to the edges. I don't think that most folks will be hanging their light this high, as you can get a similar light reading by just dimming the light, but it is an option for those looking to get a maximum light spread to cover a larger area. Finally, with the light hung at 48 inches, the center light levels are 263 par with over 100 par at the far corners. This height gives you some of the best light spread for plants in early veg and would really let you grow a lot of teens in a 5x5 or 6x6 tent. I love this light, and it is one of the ones we will be looking to use for our next indoor grow in our big tent. I love how spread out the light levels are across a larger area, with less of a focused bright spot in the center. The move towards remote drivers is something that I am happy to see as well, as it can be a battle to keep a tent cool when you have a warm spring like we have had here this year. If you are looking for a great light in a 3x3 or 4x4 tent with an amazing light spread, the Spider Farmer SE-5000 is definitely one you should be looking at. If you want to check out any of the gear we grow with for yourself, we will leave links to it all in the description down below. Using the Amazon affiliate links helps out the channel as we receive a small portion of the sale for sending you their way. The prices fluctuate a lot though, so make sure to check them out on the Spider Farmer website as well, and be sure to use code GEEKS at checkout to get a discount on your order. Do you want to see the next video before everyone else does? Make sure to check out patreon.com/thehippiegeeks and consider becoming a patron. Videos typically go up there 3 or 4 days before they go public on YouTube.